when I turn up, you know I'm on my, yes, I'm on my, yes, I'm on my,
Yeah. Like if they say it's too expensive, you're like,
yeah, it is.
Exactly. That's a good thing for you.
Yeah, it is.
Because you're getting someone of quality. Or you talk about it in advance and say, okay, this is going to be really expensive, and there's a reason for that. You get what you pay for. Anyway, it's this. It's like it's always the good thing. It's like any objection. It's like exactly that's the reason. I can't afford it. That's the reason you need this. Yeah. So that you can afford it in the future. We won't have this awkward conversation again.
And if you get to if it's a too expensive thing, just call them out.
Make it refer you to somebody else who's a little bit less expensive.
But you're not going to get the results that you want in your business.
Or you can just go simple as it's too expensive to go with the price. I just can't do that. The price is what it is, and then just
quiet.
Where are you comparing it to? You're comparing it to pizza, yeah. Like.
Or a lot of the times, especially the agency play, we'll run into majority of the time we're getting shocked. And I'll literally, in the first couple minutes of the call, I'll tell them we're probably one of the most expensive agencies you're going to work with. So then there's no reason to why they'll even come back to me at the end of the call and say it's too expensive. I said it right at the beginning.
And then you can frame right after and say, even though I just said we're one of the most expensive agencies you'll ever work with, that said, we're an advertising agency, so when we do our job correctly, it doesn't cost you anything.
Yes. Sales, literally, this is what I tell everybody. Sales, 90% of sales is emotion, 10% of sales is logic. People will buy shit based on emotion and justify it with logic. You know who is actually fucking phenomenal at reframing in his videos? Ty Lopez. He does it phenomenal. He'll start with something, but he'll reframe the entire video based around its beginning.
Yeah, that's another conversation.
That's another conversation.
That's what you think.
But if you really for someone, if you just want to pay attention to reframing a lot, who's got a lot of content out there, it's him.
If you look at your industry, normally you're like totally engulfed in like what you know, right? But I was sitting in a room with Jay Abraham. He talked about this. And it's ridiculous. Like back in the 70s, all the copywriters underneath him, or all the people writing copy, he would make them go through before they even wrote anything. If they're writing copy for a magazine, let's say in beauty, he would go and say, hey, this morning you need to actually read through a trucker's magazine and take the concepts and ideas and how they position themselves and reapply it to beauty.
That's fucking smart.
Yeah, so like he would take them through that process and they'd have to like go to multiple different industries and like engulf themselves with how it's being sold there.
Like Dan Kennedy calls it marketing incest. In your certain industry, there's a certain way, a standard way of the way things are marketed, the way operations done. There's just a standard way that works, by the way, of things that work in an industry, but everybody does them in basically the same way, and it becomes a marketing incest, and then pretty soon your processes become club-footed and cross-eyed because of all the incest, and then that lateral thinking is so important because the principles are universal. So what works in one of the other 500 industries in the world will work if you apply it over. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that there aren't processes and marketing systems that work for your industry. It just means that everyone's doing them. So sooner or later, the crossbreeding will dilute the effectiveness of it. But at the same time, you go to another industry, pull something out, and then you're the maverick in that fucking for that thing, and you can just pull out from other industries all sorts of different things.
You're pretty much, the easiest way to understand it is you're creating a new blue ocean within a red ocean through reframing. A buddy of ours, close friend of ours, he came up with it, and we all used it once we got good at it. Was we'd literally knock on the door, and if someone would answer, be like, "Hey, clock," and be like, "Sorry," be like, "Oh, sorry, do you have a clock this time?" Right to their face. It's savagery.
I tease everybody, but I tease myself just as much. Like you can't take yourself seriously on a sales call. Like you're a fucking organism on like a random ball in the middle of who knows where the fuck. Like, is it really that big of a deal that the sales call goes well? You're alive. Like it's a fucking miracle that you're alive anyway. Like, not a big deal. Don't put pressure on yourself. Yeah. It'll be another sales call. Like, you're not gonna start out there.
You know who's really good at insulting? Gary Vaynerchuk. He's mastered the art of insulting people.
Yeah.
And he does it in a way where people don't get insulted, but that's what got him so much.
He makes you love him. Listen, fuck me. I'm only doing this because I care about you, okay?
Like we do a lot of work, fucking enough, like a lot of our clients are, nothing against religion or anything, but a lot of our clients are Mormons, because they come from the event space. And initially when I first got, like when we started working with them, I was like trying to be nice about it. And I'm like, nah. So I like got on sales calls with like other event clients and stuff, and I just started swearing the first like 5 minutes phone call, and like initially the type of relationship we had was completely different because they're so used to everybody in their whole part of their life is just like their like realm, but because now somebody else has come from a completely different realm and you're accepting them for
you're being yourself,
being myself,
and just being yourself, they can be themselves. Okay,
Dave, you can have your hands
so
full editing here.
You're so politically incorrect.
What I'll end with is, no matter where you are in sales, like even though like the whole point of this event is 30K in 30 days, raise your prices as soon as you're confident. As soon as you're confident, right? You sell 2, 3, 4 people, you've delivered results, raise your prices. And when you raise your prices, it puts you into a different category of business.
It attracts you to a different quality of person. People you actually want to work with, people you can actually get results for. Most of you guys do services. If you have lower prices, you attract a lower type of client. If you attract a lower type of client, they're not going to get results because they ain't getting results for themselves, and it has nothing to do with you, and you can't force results on them no matter how good you are, so then nothing's going to happen, and then you just stay stuck in this wheel. If you do get some results at that, it's going to suck, but if you have to, it's going to be crappy, but then you get a few results and then you use that to immediately raise your prices, get a quality person. Now all of a sudden it's easy to get them results because they're already getting results for themselves, and they'll get results even when you're not there, before and after. It's just who they are results. So all you're doing is just like adding gas to the flame, and instead of having to try to fucking, fire, like rub 2 sticks together back at the lower price point.
And this goes right into the next one, because the more you ask, the less you work. Because you don't have to close half as many deals if you're raising your prices. The core of selling is have fun. Enjoy it. The more you focus on, I gotta close this sale, the more you're not going to close this sale.
People aren't robots, and people aren't like pawns to like close. Yeah. They're humans. You gotta realize that.
That's why I like having that base cash flow coming in. Because if you're just fucking worried about the next sale, I gotta close this, you're gonna take shitty deals. Like
sometimes you have to.
Your mind's, sometimes you have to.
Yeah, I've done it a million times.
Yeah.
Never do it again.
Yeah.
I'd rather just go work at McDonald's.
Yeah, so ask more, work less. People will respect the fees a lot of the times.
Yeah.
The one client that I kind of gave you guys and I called him out on because you're shopping us the other one, like literally the conversation just flipped to a point where it's like we control everything we sing to them now. Yes, they're paying us, but it's also you're hiring me for our expertise. Let's have that conversation. And last but not least is pretty much don't give a fuck what other people think. And the reason why I leave that for right at the end is because I've trained sales teams since door to door since I was 16, 17. Majority of people fail is because they're so worried about what people think.
Your behaviors are not you. Never get offended at someone saying you are something, because you know who you are. Your opinion of yourself is much more important than anyone's opinion of you. But if someone's attacking your behaviors, separate yourself from that and just look at that objectively and take that feedback in. Because a lot of people make the mistake of saying, I don't give a fuck what people think of me, and then anything that they do, they're not open to feedback and changing their behavior. But a lot of our behaviors are pretty fucked up. A lot of us have a lot of work to do on our personalities in our business. We have a lot of behaviors we want to change, so not giving a fuck what people think doesn't mean you don't take feedback. And it means you separate it's not insult to you as a human when someone says something, it's say, oh, they're looking at a behavior. Because they can't be insulting me as a human and if they are, I don't care because I know who I am. Their opinion of me is less important than my opinion of myself. At the same time, you're like, are they attacking my behaviors, so are those behaviors, do they need changing? And look at those objectively and don't take it as insult and get offended.
Yeah. Look at it from a bird's eye view versus a one-to-one view. Any questions before we get Brad up here?
For people here who are selling a digital product or a course, something like that, do you recommend that they don't ever lower the prices or have a 1 week sale or 50% off for 3 days, something like that? Just keep it.
The general thing is products, you can do it. People love good deals. You can do what you want, but services involved. Those are products. Those are information. You can do what you want. When we're talking about humans, human capital, your time, you as a person, it's a very low status and very low thing to lower the price of you as a human. You know what you're worth, and that's that. Products can be messed with. People love good deals and discounts, but you as a person, that should never be discounted.
What I would do if I were you, if you don't want to drop your prices on products and do sales, do a flash sale, but add a shitload more bonuses. So for example, a lot of times what we'll do, our agency is like a 2-tier agency. So we've got a high tier stuff that Matt pretty much runs, and we got low tier stuff that we've got another guy that runs. And the low tier clients, a lot of the times, they're the ones looking for discounts. But they're the ones that are looking for discounts or some kind of deal. So what I'll do is if they take action on the call, I'll say, if there's no setup, they've already got a landing page and stuff, is what I'll say, listen, you're closing your Facebook ads right now. If you take action on this call, we'll throw an SEO for you for free. We'll rank your website for 3 keywords. like SEO for us to throw it in, yes, there's a bit more cost to it, but it's also one of those things that's sweetening the deal, and long term, it's going to keep our clients' lifetime value longer. So it kind of goes hand in hand for us anyways by throwing it in there.
One last thing too, and this is after the sale, but this actually solidifies the sale. This is a huge secret, man. After you close a deal and you agreed on what they're going to get, if you give them a bonus that's unadvertised that you knew you were going to give, but they didn't know until after, it just makes you seem like such a badass. So there's whatever you're going to offer, if there's a piece of that you can just save, and then as soon as they buy, you just give that to them as an unadvertised bonus, they absolutely love you. That's another way to reduce your refund rate like crazy, is to give an unadvertised bonus that they didn't expect to get.
One last thing is PPS. For you guys in the service industry, and you guys are on a retainer basis or something where people you're charging monthly, quarterly, whatever, increase your referrals by waiving fees. If they give you a referral that's the exact same dollar value, you'll waive their fee for that month. But it has to be for the exact same dollar value. That's my big sticking point for them. Make sure you're not losing money, but nothing is as strong as a lead in a referral. And especially if they're coming in, like for example, if you're selling at $1,000 a month to do Facebook ads, and somebody bring you another $1,000 a month client at Facebook ads, you pay the first month, it's your just cost per acquisition is $1,000. It's crazy just to get a month free. Like it's crazy what clients will do. And the way I also reframe it a lot of times is like, we'll waive your retainer for the first month, and that's more money to spend in ad spend if you choose. That's giving you more money to spend on Facebook ads to get you more results.